Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, Xbox is kind of getting in some pretty big heat, and same with IGN. Now, if you guys probably know, Xbox at their conference, we've been doing a little bit of coverage on it. We might still have a little bit of lingering coverage for that too, both for the PlayStation, Xbox, and, well, Nintendo Switch a little bit. But right now, we're actually seeing some people who were physically at the event itself that were kind of scheming Xbox a little bit. Now, as you guys probably know, Xbox had an overall, and in my honest, genuine opinion, pretty good event. Like, they had new games coming, a little bit of brand new hardware. We're still waiting to see like some maybe Xbox handheld stuff or whatever it might be. More games coming to other platforms. Like, at the end of the day, we're pretty happy with it. But some of that happiness may have actually been a little bit on the forced side. Now, I kind of want to go and say this is not maybe the biggest deal, but it's a big enough deal that it's kind of get a lot of media attention, and IGN especially is getting called out. So let's go and talk about it. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below if you guys want to follow. And of course, give me your thoughts and comments if you guys think this is a big deal or not. So kind of the one bigger thing over here is they had like an interesting IGN like interview with Phil Spencer. We even covered this up on the channel a few days ago, like yesterday, where Phil Spencer had a chance to go break down some of his thoughts, did a little bit of like shade against PlayStation, which might be relevant for some other videos throughout the day, and overall it's kind of just trying to talk. Like, IGN is still pretty big, especially in the gaming sphere, but it's a little bit crazier. Because while he was doing his interview and discussing the future of Xbox, and overall people kind of gave it pretty decent thumbs up vibes, there was something in the audience that was changing things up a little bit, and it got a little bit more intense as everything went on. So first and foremost, we had a lot of kind of critiques on this one when it comes to the show itself, for two major reasons. Let me go and start off with the first one. Actually, let's talk about the drama first, and we'll kind of backtrack it. So, number one, they're at this live event. You guys can kind of see people in the audience. I'll go and full cam it up so you guys can see it better. But they're physically at a real life event. Like, they're like doing a live interview over here. You guys can talk about and stuff. And the one big controversy, which if you guys have ever been to live events, this happens. So I don't want to be like, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen. Xbox is buying off everyone. But some people have that opinion. But it is kind of a little bit on the sketchier side because there was also like weird, awkward cheering and kind of more hardcore questions being asked that were kind of somewhat diverted off to, which makes sense. Big CEO, multi-trillion-dollar company. Like, you got to go be on top of what you're answering on. So anyway, I get it. But yeah, people are kind of calling out where everyone who's at like the live stage. And they're like basically encouraging people, the context, encouraging people to like start cheering and freaking out and trying to get t-shirts and like be a part of it and hype up the event, which if you guys have ever been to like a baseball game, basketball game, like it's very commonplace. But it's a little bit weird and people are calling out the weirdity of it because it's like an interview and like a discussion over consoles. So it's like, imagine the same situation with any other company. Now, gaming's a bit more loosey-goosey, a little bit more fun. Get it, totally get it. Don't want to be like too anti-Xbox over here, just kind of reporting more of the news. But like, let's say you're in a big like investment firm. You're interviewing a bank owner. You're interviewing like, I don't know, almost anyone out there in any type of big proper business. You're not going to be having like fans around you waiting to see what they say, trying to have people like getting t-shirts, maybe like NBA stuff, sure. But like, it's really weird. This really is like, I'm just seeing people flopping t-shirts everywhere, everyone freaking out. This is on the IGN show thing, which did go live. We did go cover too as well. And it's weird. Like the gaming sphere, like, because people just want to see the interview and kind of hear the good gossip and news. And as I kind of mentioned, people came like, hey, we were told and pumped to cheer. The loudest cheerleader got prizes. They did whatever they can to keep the energy in the room too as well. And like, people are just calling IGN shameless. People are calling them gross. They're saying like other words people didn't really care about the interview or Phil had to go and say. It's producers' decision to make it like more of a Jerry Springer weekend too. They had like free 5-hour energy drinks throughout the weekend. They want to have more of an intimate setting, which I'd probably go and say too as well. And like this, everyone's like, this is bad. This is gross. Like, it's weird. Now, some people are saying this is normal crowd management. I would agree. Like, I've seen this, but it is also weird for really big internal, you know, like interviews and interactions and everything else. Like, people are kind of calling this out too. Some people are saying this is normal. Some people are saying it's weird. It kind of just depends on your perspective, which is why it's a fun video to make. But the bigger issue on this is off the stem, saying, I can't believe it. Phil Spencer entirely ducked the question around Tango's closure. So this is kind of like more of a hardcore conversation, discussing like Xbox's recent studio like shutdowns and a lot of the big different layoffs, which even is a big deal. Like, if you guys care about the gaming sphere as overall, this is a big deal. Like, people do not want to go and lose their jobs. They're worried about the future of the devs making the games, cost of games. Like, there's a lot of big drama ongoing right now with these situations. Understandably so. So people want to ask. So they're like, hey, like, what's going on with Tango's closure? And they were trying to pretend that he went in hiding out of respect for the studios that he closed. The audience was cheering, and they were clapping for this. So now you guys can kind of see why this situation of people like freaking out and getting excited and being like, oh my god, woo! You know, like this, everyone's like freaking out and cheering, but they're trying to actually have like a proper like thing that affects the gaming sphere as a whole. Big studio shutdowns and having these issues and people losing their jobs and livelihoods and what's going to be available in games and all this stuff. And they go and they talk about this and highlight this, and people are like kind of making a mockery of it.
Works and some of the some of the thoughts behind the decision making there. I mean, you had a critical darling in Hi-Fi Rush. You had folks like Aaron Greenberg saying it checked all these boxes for us and did all the right things here. So, walk me through the decision of why, really Tango specifically, not to disrespect the other studios that were.
So basically, he's trying to go be like, hey, Hi-Fi Rush, well-received. I agree with that same opinion. Why was it shut down? Like, the other studios, kind of my also same thought, were a little bit lackluster, understandably so. But, like, Hi-Fi Rush was very critically acclaimed. We discussed this on Death in the channel. And I personally think they should have more shots. Like, they've made well-received games. Even maybe not the most profitable, but throwing on Game Pass, you're blowing money everywhere else, why not? And this is, like, the serious situation. I would say this is a very serious question. This is, like, jobs and the future of Xbox and Game Pass. It was a very polarizing conversation.
We're closed, but that was the one that really seemed to kind of stick in the community's craw a bit. So I'm hoping here that you can take the opportunity to address that closure and some of the recent changes in Xbox.
Yeah, the closure of any team is hard, obviously, on the individuals there, hard on the team. And I try to spend all of my focus, as you said, I haven't been talking publicly about this, because right now is a time for us to focus on the team and the individuals.
Which I do agree with. That's a good response. It's like you shut down teams, you want to make sure they have a good severance, they can get new jobs, focus on the teams you have, and make sure you don't have to shut down more studios. High level, I agree.
It's obviously a decision that's very hard on them, and I want to make sure through severance and other things that we're doing the right thing for the individuals on the team. It's not about my PR, it's not about Xbox PR, it's about those teams. In the end, I've said over and over, I have to run a sustainable business inside the company and grow. And that means sometimes I have to make hard decisions that frankly are not decisions I love, but decisions that somebody needs to go make. We will continue to go forward. We will continue to invest in what we're trying to go do in Xbox and build the best business that we can, which ensures we can continue to do shows like the one we just did.
And right there is where I want you guys to go and like kind of highlight. I'm going to bump up the audio a little bit more, but like kind of bump up your audio too if you guys need to. Right here, this is where people are kind of questioning this event.
Business that we can, which ensures we can continue to do shows like the one we just did.
With people clapping and celebrating in the background.
On the Activision Blizzard saga, that's that.
And I'm going to say, I don't want to be too much of a stickler. It is an entertaining topic, so like don't take me like too hardcore or I'm trying to be like, oh my god. But that's really bad on IGN. And I will say Phil Spencer did say those words right. He wanted to focus on the people, the devs that were affected, and they want to make sure they don't have to deal with this again in the future. I think this is the right take. I think this is, yes, like I don't want to say anything bad about Xbox there. I think that's right. But I do think on the idea, and I'm sure this is maybe not Phil Spencer's idea as a whole, but like you have these people in the background, as we mentioned, this is kind of where the drama gets big, where like they have these people freaking out. And like celebrating and screaming, trying to get like merch and do this like PR or whatever, but also in the mixture of them just really awkwardly time clapping. So people are saying like IGN was trying to have like applause meters and trying to like kind of herd the crowd into it. And it just seemed like an overall horrible vibe. Like IGN has always been kind of noticed, I don't want to say like the most respected place out there. They try, I guess, but my words aside, and this kind of seems like a weird situation. Like, especially after having people going and talking about people losing their jobs and, like, worrying about them in the future and people clearing and, like, clapping. Maybe just for the game show itself. Sure, it was an okay game show. But it's just a weird time, weird vibe. People are giving a lot of flack on Xbox in general for this one, and mainly more on IGN. I think a lot of people just think IGN's scummy, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. Like, this is very kind of, like, petty, weird gaming drama, but I think it was kind of fun to talk about, so if you guys don't mind, as a whole. So give me your thoughts and comments, everything down below. I think he tried. I understand. May not be his final call at the end of the day, but I do think IGN's a little bit scummy on this. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well down below if you guys want to follow. And I appreciate you guys all for watching here in the first place.